What's up, guys? Guy here. It is Sunday night. I don't know what time it is for you. Hopefully, if it's before like 10:15 a.m. on Monday, I'm still asleep. It is 10:37 p.m. on Sunday night right now. It's been a heck of a 2 days. Heck of a night. Heck of a night. Just got back from Levi Stadium. Battle going on right now between the two NyQuil I just took and the 4 cups of coffee I had throughout the game. And I'm fired up. A few things. I just want to talk about some stuff. I want to talk about. There's so much to talk about. There really is so much to talk about. And I had a lot of fun tonight calling the game on CamBR with Tim Ryan. It was an awesome game. It was, I thought, the best all-around game the 49ers have played. They're 5-2, one of 4 teams in the NFC, out of 5 wins. And I think we just got a little bit of everything. A little bit of everything. It was such a fun game to call. It's such a fun environment. You know, you can feel it. I think these like primetime games, under the lights, night games are so great. I love night games. And this one lived up to it. And the Niners, I mean, the list is long of everybody who did something that helped them win the game. I was at Rutgers on Saturday night, called a game, got to the Courtyard Marriott Newark Airport at 11:30 Saturday night Eastern. Got to sleep around midnight, woke up around 3:45, took a 6 a.m. flight, landed here at 9:15, got home, showered, changed, went down to Levi's, and I was a little worried about, like, would I be able to maintain? So I was pumping the coffee, but the game was just so good, and Tim Ryan's energy is so, it wasn't hard at all. It was not hard at all. It was so much fun. You know, the first thing I want to say about the game is really something about the team. Like, I hope the fact they're 5-2 and everyone's kind of aware of what they've been through. I think it won't come off cheesy. I mean it sincerely. It's inspiring. They are an inspiring football team to watch. I thought one of the best pieces of leadership that I've seen. There's so many great ones. It's not a list of 10. But I thought this week, and Kyle Shanahan kind of pulled the curtain back when he told Matt Mayoko, I thought it was an incredible display of leadership from him, from Fred Warner, from Robert Saleh, from so many other guys, from Christian McCaffrey. But specifically, the thing that Kyle Shanahan was so human when he told it to Matt Mayoko, that on the flight back from Tampa after Fred Warner got hurt, he watched the film and was just kind of almost like he was sulking, right? Like he was sad, as I'm sure everybody was. I wasn't on that plane, but I can only imagine. Then he said he watched it again, and he got inspired. He was kind of like, he got back into it. No, let's go. He got inspired by watching all the young players. And I thought that was, and then he showed it to the team. He told the team about it. And I thought that was a stroke of genius by Kyle Shanahan. Now, it worked because it's authentic. Right, because he actually was. He watched it again and thought, "Wait a second, we can win with these guys. It's not all over." But I still think it was a stroke of genius by Shanahan this week. Forget about the play calling. We can talk about him as an offensive coach so much. The leadership element this week. They lost Fred, who is the king of the jungle. You know, when you lose the king of the jungle, there is a leadership void. They've got clear leadership from a coaching standpoint. You need players. Getting Kittle back helped. But I just thought it was an absolute masterclass by Kyle Shanahan this week. From a leadership standpoint, from a coaching standpoint, big game Bob Saleh, a masterclass from him and his defense. And I think that's the first thing. It's inspiring to see people, whether it's sports, whether it's, you say like, oh, it's not quote unquote real life, but like for them, it is real life. And it's, you know, for all of us, it's work, like it's business, like it is real. It's not artificial life. I think sometimes we talk about sports like it's not real life. No, it's real life for a lot of people. Now, whether you win or lose, you still got to go home like that. I get it. I'm not dismissing that comment. I think it's mostly true. Sometimes we can make too much of it, but sports can be real life inspiring. And I think this team, I don't know what's going to come next. They go on the road for the next 2. They go to Houston. They go to the Giants. We'll see if the Giants are broken or not. So I don't want to overstate it, but I think watching people overcome adversity, whether that's in sports or anything else, that's real life. You know, for Chase Lucas, who's played in the league for 4 years, kinda, He's been in the league 4 years. He's never really played a whole game, especially on defense. He plays special teams. That's a guy who believes in himself more than anybody else believes in him. And I think a lot of people can identify with that. And that's really cool. It's really cool. So, like, I was legitimately inspired watching those guys play football on Sunday night. And if that's cheesy, so be it. But I think it's different. Probably, I feel differently calling a game versus sitting on the couch watching it. Like, I feel it more in all the ways that you feel it, and I really that was a special thing on Sunday Night Football. And I know the Falcons. We'll see what they are. Are they really the number one offense in the league? Probably not. But that's what they were doing coming. Are they not number one offense, number one defense in the league? By passing yards, probably not. But you hold a team to 10 points. Bijan, who like you could see it, like he's every bit what he's supposed to be, and the way I said it during the game was like Christian McCaffrey's not giving up the throne yet, over 200 yards, and at this point, nobody but the best quarterbacks on one of the best teams wins the MVP award, and so it's still an extremely you still got to win a lot of games, and even then, it's probably not happening. But if you're going to have a chance. You have to have big games on national TV, and you got to do it early enough so momentum can build. Who knows where we'll be in a month, let alone at the end of week 18. But what's undeniable is he is playing at a most valuable player level. And today, with all the rightful talk about Bijan Robinson or Bijan, it doesn't seem like everyone's quite figured out which one it is. Christian McCaffrey. I don't want to say he carried because so many other guys, but where would they be without him? Where would anybody? He is unbelievable. And finally, a couple things get blocked up, and all of a sudden he's 5.4 yards a carry, 129 on the ground, 72 receiving, the huge clutch 17-yard, 3rd and 14 throw, which Mac Jones is. I mean, we had to talk about Mac Jones, but McCaffrey was so special. I think that's part of what made the night feel special was that guy being that special. You're just so aware that you're watching greatness, and he's not passing the torch to Bijan Robinson quite yet. As special as Bijan is, this guy's doing it at 30, still doing it. Mac Jones got sacked on the first play of the game, and you're like, oh, they can be able to block today, and Brendel gets hurt. And, Christian McCaffrey was just special in every way. Bryce Huff, I don't know if underrated is the word, but, I mean, he's been really good. He's had in every win, like a moment. Tonight he had multiple moments. What a fantastic addition. I think, Robert Saleh probably gets a lot of credit for that. Like identifying, it wasn't good last year in Philly, but we can make it good, and it was really good. Tatum Bethune wearing 48. How cool was that? I think they showed it on TV a few times. I'll tell you the moment in the stadium, for those of you who were there, hopefully you're eating pesto, but the moment in the stadium where they show Fred Warner, and he's holding it's gone viral since, but he's holding his baby, and his wife is there, and he's sleeveless, and he just starts going nuts. He was on the field before the game. He was in the locker room high-fiving guys that came off the field after the game. What a leader. Tatum Bethune shows up wearing Fred's 48 from Fred's rookie year, and he comes out and has 10 tackles, leads the team. And I think sometimes, somebody has to lead a team in tackles. At the end of a game, somebody's going to lead them in tackles. Sometimes it's a result of bad defense, and you're cleaning up a bunch of stuff. But Tatum Bethune was making plays at and behind the line of scrimmage tonight. And, he did not lead them in tackles just because somebody had to. Big game Bob Saleh, Robert Saleh. I'm afraid he's going to become a head coach. National, just like for MVPs, it's always hard for defensive guys. But, national TV, big games, kind of shutting somebody down who other people struggle to shut down. 14 carries, 40 yards for Bijan. That's the kind of thing that it's such a great combination, him and Shanahan. And I for him, I don't think there is no question in my mind that guy deserves to be a head football coach again. But I hope it does. Selfishly, I hope it doesn't happen in 2026. Playing with a 10-point lead, that's what it looks like. They haven't done it. They've won all their games by single digits, but then you get to start teeing off, and you could see it. They start teeing off, and it affected Michael Penix even when he wasn't getting hit. The ball was flying all over the place late, missing open receivers late. So, what do you do now? Are you a little more inspired in the trade market? They're about to go on the road twice, and then you're going to come home and play the Rams, who also have 5 wins. Then you're going to go to Arizona. So 3 of the next 4 on the road. Does this inspire you to do anything in the trade market? I still think they're not trading a second. They don't want to trade a third. They probably don't even want to trade a fourth. But, you watch the team tonight, you go, it doesn't have to be Trey Hendrickson to make the team better. It doesn't have to be that. And you look at Kittle, who for the first time in his career, 126 games, did not have a catch. Affected the game in such a significant way. I still think, there are plays. There are plays where you do feel the absence of Ricky Pearsall or even a guy like Ayuk, the ball that goes through the hands of Demarcus Robinson. And you just kind of feel the lack, but still they're finding ways. And, I think one thing that's really interesting is that there's the Mac Jones is a really good thing. You know what you haven't seen from the Niners passing game? I could be wrong. 17 to 26. Was there a layered middle throw tonight? Like the staple of the Shanahan, of the Brock Purdy. We'll see if Brock's coming back this week. Mac has been so good. Mac is getting the ball out quickly. He's getting into his check down on time. That's the thing Tim Ryan kept saying during the game, and he's so right. Getting into his check down on time, but you're seeing that Mac is not trying to do too much. He's not greedy, but I would love to see a healthy Brock in this offense. Brock is so good at those layered throws, but they're dangerous. They're dangerous throws, and we're seeing the 49ers offense be able to get a rhythm, be able to thrive. And I know you go 152 yards. Did they thrive? I thought Mac was really good. It goes back to the other point we've made for years, which is like 347 yards is not the recipe for winning. It was, RG3 in the Big 12 those days, or Cliff Kingsbury, the quarterback, not the coach. But that's not the recipe. The recipe is, can you run for 5 yards a carry, convert big third downs, which the Niners did? So what if it's only 152 yards? I thought Mac was really good. But they're throwing to the numbers. They are not, they had the one ball tipped by Jennings, drop intercepted. But you notice the ball is not layering into harm's way. And I would hope that it's because you don't have Kittle out there. Jennings hasn't been healthy. Pearsall, Ayuk, those in-cutting routes. It's a little more, nothing's relaxing. Nothing's relaxing, but it's a little less dangerous, and it does feel like they've changed the offense a little bit because of the receiver issue, and it has benefited them. So Mac Jones he moved so much better tonight than he did against Tampa, and coming off those 6 sacks, he gets sacked on the first play of the game. You're like, oh God, here we go again. But it wasn't here we go again. He is so tough. I think I think people don't. We've seen his press conferences, and that he's funny. And I think I think people are have the wrong idea of him. That like he doesn't take things seriously, and I think it's the opposite. I think the rep on Mac is like he takes things so seriously, and he's really hard on himself. But I heard in the postgame, I was driving home listening to KNBR, and my buddy John Dickinson, I thought, made a great point. He goes, watching Mac Jones talk, it seems clearer that maybe he was never going to be a fit with Bill Belichick. And I think that's the beauty of Kyle Shanahan. It's like, now Belichick's got the ring. Just understand what I'm saying. It's like you can be yourself, but also it's going to be a disciplined operation. But everybody doesn't have to, you don't have to operate with fear. So for whatever reason, maybe that was the case, maybe it wasn't. I just thought it was a great observation from JD, an interesting observation from JD. But I think the thing with Mac, it's not that he's so loose. He's funny. He's a fun guy, clearly. but they have unlocked him in a way that's allowed him to play free. And I think for any quarterback who's, especially one that's drafted high, who's got a lot of pressure, who does not have success, who goes through a bunch of different coaching staffs, different coordinators, the whole thing. That you hear quarterbacks talk about. There's so much scar tissue. How do you overcome failure? I think success when you're young, just a little bit of it and a little bit more, and it breeds confidence. And now you're feeling good. And now every mistake is not the end of the world. And I think when you're a young quarterback and it's not going that way, every mistake becomes the end of the world. And they undid it with Darnold. They've undone it again with Mac Jones. And it's really, is he fifth? Is he third? Is he sixth? Will he win a championship? This has been a reminder, and I don't know who needed reminding, that Kyle Shanahan is an elite coach. And it's not just play caller, it's coach. It's leader. It doesn't mean without flaws. But it's just incredible. The way that he and it's not just him. You need a whole locker room built of guys who can weather a storm. And I think Robert Saleh is a great leader too. But the way that they rallied this week and won and played and the whole thing, and we've been saying it. It's like it's a math problem. And I was talking to Tim Kawakami. I think he and Matt Burrows do a great show. 49ers plus minus. Not that they need my promotion. And he's been saying it, and I've been calling it a math problem, which is the least sexy thing to call it. But once you bank these wins, like they don't go away. And it just gives you such a chance. And it's why we talk about the schedule, your opponent so much. Oh, well, the Giants are good now. Well, maybe nothing's easy. Nothing's easy, but you're not playing the Bills and the Ravens, and that matters. It really matters. And, I think what you're seeing is a team that, how good are they going to be? How long can they keep it? Will they get guys healthy? Will their health luck change? We don't know. But I think Sunday night was a reminder, not just from the math standpoint, because that's the one that matters. Like, say what you want, 5-2 is 5-2. But also from a spirit standpoint, like that's not a team you give up on, even if you don't think they can win a Super Bowl, right? Which is not what we're talking about right now. But that's not a team that you watch and go, just get a good draft pick and whatever. No, all this stuff matters. Like if you're going to have a chance to win a championship in 2026 or 2027, you're planting the seeds right now. And, you've been looking for another linebacker for a while. And D. Winters is kind of, he's taking a step. But how are you ever going to develop that guy? And boom, Fred Warner gets hurt. And long way to go. But Tatum Bethune showed a lot of promise today. Eddie Pinheiro, by the way. Like, oh my God. The ball can just fly straight. So, there's so much more to say, but that's what I got tonight. And I'm sure I'm missing a lot. But I think the overarching thing I will say is like, for everybody on some level, you want it to be championship or bust, and especially when you've been on the quest for 30 years for your 6th Super Bowl, then it sounds soft to say anything but a Lombardi is a failure. That's what the standard is here. And it's fine. I'm on board with it. But there are things that happen. There are circumstances that arise where you can find inspiration and success and a future in something shy of being the team that wins the very last game. And they're in the fight. Like, don't tell them they don't have a chance. But they are showing that this year. They are. I'm just blown away. I'm really blown away. And it's not that I didn't think they could beat Atlanta. I did. I said it. Go back and even after the Tampa game when they lost Fred Warner, I did it. My first thing was like, it's not over because of the schedule. You telling me they can't come home and beat Atlanta, who's playing on a short week? And they did. So I'm not shocked by that, but I just thought the way it looked, that you still have to go do it. Like they could do it, but they actually did do it. and that was awesome to see. So it was really an awesome night at Levi Stadium, really an awesome night. Okay, there's more coming this week, of course, but that's what I got for now, and I'll talk to you all soon. Later.